Didn't reinvent its clamshell style foldable, but the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 looks ready to hold on to its value foldable crown. Samsung's mid-year Unpacked event delivered everything we expected, with some new Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, a new duo of smart watches across the Galaxy Watch 5 and Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, and a pair of foldables in the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The new foldable keeps the signature clamshell design and comes with an improved display, dual cameras, and a flagship chipset. The screen's diagonal is 6.7 inch, which is the same as the predecessor, but that's where the similarities end. The new OLED panel has a better hinge that bends in a pear shape to close completely when folded. It supports HDR10 Plus and comes with 144Hz refresh rate. Also, Motorola dropped the weird notch with the panel tucking underneath and introduced a punch hole design for the 32-megapixel front-facing camera. Now, we don't want to call it a selfie shooter, as selfies will likely be taken with the dual camera on the back, in combination with the external 2.7-inch OLED screen that apparently remains unchanged. The main camera has a 50-megapixel sensor and OIS identical to what is used on the H30 Pro and S30 Pro. The secondary camera is a 13-megapixel ultra-wide-angle shooter with 121 degrees field of view. The previous two Moto Razr phones had Snapdragon 7 series chipsets, but finally the Moto Razr 2022 comes with a flagship Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Other specs include support for RAW shooting, MyUI 4.0 interface that redesigned some apps to work on the outer screen as well, dual speakers with Dolby Atmos support, and proper DC dimming. If you have ever seen the existing Z Flip 3, the design of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 may not even register at first glance. It sports the same straight-sided look with a black visor along the top edge of the back that plays host to two rear camera sensors and the external cover display, while the rest of the back is comprised of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus set against a complementary color-matched aluminum armor frame. Launch colors include graphite, pink gold, Bora purple, and blue, as well as the ability to mix and match both back colors and frame finishes in certain markets if you pick up a bespoke edition. Despite the same primary screen size as the Flip 3, Samsung has managed to make the Flip 4 smaller overall. When folding the phone closed, the logo engraved hinge doesn't protrude quite as much as did on the last model, with a folded head that's 1.5mm shorter thanks in part to slimmer bezels. This has also made more room for a bigger battery. Side on, there's still a discernible gap to protect the point at which the screen creases in half, and dust ingress is still a risk with no certified protection against grit. However, IPX8 water resistance does return from last year's Flip and is still just as unbelievably impressive in an ever-growing market of rival foldables that still offer no such protection. Like this year's model, you will find a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X panel when you open up the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, which sports a pleasantly smooth 120Hz refresh rate that can scale down to 1 Hz in certain situations to preserve battery life. Visual quality is great for the resolution, with the crease unseen when viewed head on the barely felt under finger, making usability almost as good as on any conventional candy bar smartphone. albeit with a decidedly unconventional 22:9 aspect ratio. The shape does ask for two-handed user from the user a little more often, but also lends itself particularly well to split screen multitasking and enjoying ultra widescreen gaming or video playback. That main screen also comes protected by a new version of Samsung's UTG Ultra Thin Glass 2.0, which the company claims is 20% stronger than before, although we can't speak to its scratch or impact resistance at this early stage. Samsung made the external cover display larger on the Flip 3 compared to its predecessors, and that runs through to the Galaxy Z Flip 4 with the same 1.9-inch Super AMOLED panel as before, plus the same 260x512 resolution and 60Hz refresh rate too. Motorola has confirmed the Razr 2022 will come armed with Qualcomm's top-tier Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, making the Razr 2022 Motorola's most technically capable foldable by a long shot. While the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 might not offer a major performance leap over the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, it is a huge jump for Motorola. So far, the Motorola Razr foldable phones have relied on mid-range chips such as Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G, which makes the Motorola Razr 2022 a massive update for the lineup. It comes in three variants of 8GB of RAM paired with 128GB storage, and 8GB paired with 256GB, and 12GB with a whopping 512GB storage. But there is more to the picture here when just the added raw performance. A flagship grade chip also unlocks new capabilities for the camera and ensures that it stays at the top of the priority list when it comes to rolling out software updates in the long run. You will find three cameras on Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, which at first blush look very familiar to those on the Z Flip 3. The foldable display sports a centrally positioned 10-megapixel punch-hole snapper, while the two sensors next to the cover display on the back are comprised of an OIS-supported main 12-megapixel sensor and 12-megapixel ultra-wide. Our initial hands-on time with the Z Flip 4 didn't unearth any groundbreaking real-world improvements to picture quality, but we couldn't exactly stroll out the door of the company's press preview with a pre-release device in hand to put it to the test. We'll have a better idea come the full review. Though Samsung promises brighter stills and videos from the main snapper thanks to larger pixels on the 12-megapixel primary sensor, while the rest of the camera hardware appears unchanged. Both YS and VDIS have been improved, with the latter being particularly handy in light of the new flex cam feature designed to properly orient the UI when holding the phone like a 90s camcorder, whilst the hinge is folded to a 90-degree position. The cover display experience has been expanded, meaning you can just jump through aspect ratios, grab quick shots including portraits, photos, and start shooting video on the cover display while unfolding and switching to the main display without interrupting recording. Battery life is often struggle for folding for smartphones, and this has been especially true for previous Razr foldables. Thankfully, the Razr 2022 is making some progress to address this. Prior to the phone's full announcement, Motorola confirmed that the Razr 2022 would have a 3500 mAh battery capacity. While that's relatively small compared to non-folding phones, the small size of flipping smartphones means that batteries have always been smaller than the average. In addition, this is larger than the 3300 mAh battery in the Z Flip 3, but the Z Flip 4 is got 3700 mAh battery, and the 2800 battery used in Razr 5G combined with the improved power efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, the Razr 2022 should be better in this department.